Hi guys, it's Brittany. So today is going to be an incredible movie facts video, and today we're going to learn and know these interesting facts on the movie Scream. One, the film of this movie is Rose McGowan's favorite filming experience in her career. That is quite interesting to note. I mean, considering her character did die in the movie, which I think that's quite sad because her character Tatum is such a likable character, and I think when I first saw it, I was like 13. So of course, when I saw how her character was being killed off, I was like, why? I was not expecting that. I wasn't at all. And I'm like, why? Like, why is it the good ones that have to get killed off? Like, why? I just didn't understand that. But so, even though her character got killed off in the movie, at least at least filming the movie was like her favorite filming experience in her career. So I'm glad to hear that she had a good time and that she just really loved doing it, doing the movie, even though her character got killed off. So maybe she didn't mind that, but um yeah, that was quite interesting to know. Like, I'm glad she had a good time filming the movie Scream because it's a good movie and the cast is great. Two, Gail Weathers as a pun. No, a pun. I'm sorry if I kind of said that kind of weird just now. Sorry. Um, a gale is a very strong wind, and wind is part of weather. Gale even jokes to Dewey near the end of the film that she sounds like a meteorologist. Now, I did not know that. I didn't know that gale was actually a very strong wind. I did not know that until I, of course, looked it up. I'm like, wait, what? This is new to me. So, considering her name, Gail Weathers, is a pun, I'm like, okay, wow. Something new to learn, every day. So, in case if you didn't know that either, well, now you know. Because I didn't know that either. So, I was like, huh. Three, Sydney's boyfriend in the film was named Billy Loomis. That is the same spelling as the doctor from Halloween 1978. Although Dr. Loomis never mentioned anything about whether or not he had children of his own. Hmm. Now, I did notice that too, because I did watch, I think, Scream first before Halloween. So, of course, when I heard the name Loomis, I'm like, wait, Loomis, like, as in like what? So yeah, I remember hearing both of those names from Scream and Halloween. I'm like, are they related somehow? So I mean, of course, I'm not sure if there's a theory out there whether if Billy Loomis could be the son of Dr. Loomis from Halloween. I'm not sure if there is a theory out there of that, but if there is, I'm gonna read that and see just how far the theory goes on that. But in case there's no theory on that, then maybe there just hasn't been a theory on it. I don't know. Um, Now here's the thing. I think whether if Billy Loomis may actually be the son of Dr. Loomis from Halloween, who knows? Maybe if the doctor, I think maybe the reason why he probably didn't mention he had any children, maybe because if he knew that his own son was this, crazed killer, and he probably knew what his son was up to, maybe he just felt ashamed that he had a son like that, and maybe he just didn't mention the fact that maybe if he did had a son who was this killer, was just Billy. So maybe that's why. Maybe he felt so ashamed that he had a son like that. Maybe. Or let's say in case if those characters are not related, but they just happen to have the same last name, then that's just a coincidence. Yeah, that is quite interesting though, but like I said, I'm not sure whether if they may be somewhat related or not, but considering in the Halloween franchise and the Scream franchise, I mean, it could be somewhat possible, but then again, I don't think they're really related. I think if someone were to confirm that they are, like if there's somewhat connection, then yeah, maybe I'll be like, okay, if someone confirms it, then okay, but if there's no confirmation and there's no connection between the characters, then yeah, I wouldn't think that they are related. I just think they're two different characters. For the first time Marco Beltrami scored a feature film. And that is quite interesting to know too, because considering Scream was his very first movie that he composed the music for, he did such a good job on that. He really did because the music in the movie, like, of course, between different parts in the movie, depending if it sounds scary or just sounds something else, he did a good job on that, considering he composed the music for Scream, and that was the first time he composed the music. And I think later on he did compose the music for Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, I believe. So yeah, he did a good job. And yeah, even the music of Scream is just good. Like it is really good because it just kind of, let's just say, it kind of captures you in the moment of what's going on in the movie. Um, Five, the Ross slasher franchise, where the original director helmed every movie in the franchise. That's never happened before or since. Yeah. So even when I read this, I was like, really? Like, oh wow. Like that's quite interesting too to know. Oh yeah, and of course you can tell I'm wearing my Harley Quinn costume, and the reason why, because I was gonna wear something else today, but then I thought, you know what, I don't want to wear just any shirt, like even though if it may look nice or pretty, it's like, you know what, I want to wear my Harley Quinn costume that I wore 2 years ago. Because yeah, 2 years ago I was dressed up as Harley Quinn, and if you want to see those pictures, I posted it on Instagram. So yeah, I thought, because it's October and then let's say we're just kind of getting there, getting close to Halloween. I thought I have to wear my costume. I want to wear my costume for today. Okay, so yeah, that's all about the costume though. Okay, six. Sorry. Um, my spelling is not good. So I think I typed down on here fast. So, okay, six. Joaquin Phoenix turned down the role of Billy Loomis. Um, Now I didn't know that he was offered the role of Billy Loomis, and I didn't even know he turned down the role. But okay, now let me try to picture that. So Scream came out in 1996. So okay, I'm trying to picture if okay, I'm trying to picture whether if Joaquin Phoenix did take the role of Billy Loomis and how that would have turned out. Um, well, honestly, I don't really picture him as being Billy Loomis, I don't. But yeah, I think it's a good thing he did turn down the role though, because of course Skeet Ulrich, who kind of resembles Johnny Depp, in a way, he, it's like he got the part of Billy and Loomis. So I'm glad in a way he did turn on the role, because at least Skeet Ulrich got the part of Billy and Loomis, which he did a great job playing on that, because at the same time, with his performance as Billy Loomis, he makes it so believable, where you think like, oh no, he's this really nice guy, and he's this, um nice guy and boyfriend of Sydney's. But then at the same time, he can convince you at the same time, like, well, wait a minute, he could be the killer too, which, spoiler alert, he is. I mean, to be honest, even when I first watched Scream, I never really liked Billy, because to me, there's just something about him that was off, and I don't know, I suspected him, like, from the beginning, because there are certain things he would say, and there was just some things he did, even he would have a certain look on his face. I'm like, okay, something seems really off about this Billy character. Like, I don't know, like, I get this feeling he's up to no good, which, of course, my instincts were right, because when I found out he was the killer at the end, like, I knew it! So, yeah, that was me. Like, damn it, I knew it, you. Mm. Okay, so, and speaking of Skeet Ulrich, seven, according to Skeet Ulrich at a conversation, it was Billy who kills Tatum in the garage. I think that I kinda know too. I think that's something I had a feeling about. And here's why. If you pay close attention when you're watching Scream. Now, after when Tatum gets killed in the garage, um, so after that, of course, it shows how Ghostface walks into the house, and I think at some point Billy takes off the costume, and he probably must have, hid it somewhere where Stu would find it later and put it on. But now, if you pay close attention to this part, because when I saw this, I'm like, why did he do that? Like to me, I just found him so fishy. um Now, in this part, though, you know how there are some people in the party that are leaving, leaving Stu's house, and you know how when Sydney, she's looking for Tatum, and she's shouting out to her like Tatum, and she's like, Tatum, come on, and she even asked Stu, because that's Tatum's boyfriend. She's like, have you seen her? And he's like, no, but then all of a sudden Billy shows up. He's like, bruh, you know, he does that like in front of the door, in front of the house. But I can tell that after he did that, he turns um like he's like this in front of the door. His eyes turn to Stu, and he has that look, like he kind of gives that look like that, almost like if that was him saying, I did it, like I did my job, she's dead, Tatum's dead. So that part was like, okay, that must have been some kind of signal that he was giving to Stu, like, okay, I'm done. Like, yeah, she's dead. So, oh, but yeah, so I had a feeling that it was Billy that killed Tatum, because then later, um, I think it was Stu who, damn it, I don't know. I watched it since last week, so my mind. 8. The only slasher movie where the final girl dates the killer. Oh yeah, yeah. Because of Sydney, like she survived, and her boyfriend turns out to be the killer. But it wasn't just Sydney though. Like Tatum, her boyfriend was the killer too, except with Stu, he was just kind of like a wuss. You know, it's like he's kind of like just a wuss, and he's just the kind of character that he would do anything that Billy would say. Because you know how Sidney asked him like what his motive would be to the police, and then he was like, peer pressure. I'm far too sensitive. I'm like, oh really? Well, you're such a wuss. Like, wow, can't believe you turned out to be the killer. But then again, in a movie, anyone can be the killer, whether if they're really that wacko or a wuss, or whether if they're one of those characters where they don't think for themselves, or I don't know. It could be anyone. So I even suspected Stu too, because to me he seemed kind of weird. But when I mean weird, I don't mean like in a funny, good kind of way. I mean weird as in like in this really off balanced, just this really weird guy that I can't really know. It's kind of like I don't really know what's going on in his head. Because to me, he just seemed like this really weird, wacko character. Nine, the only film in the franchise where both killers are previously suspected of being the killers. Mm-hmm. That is true. That is true. And I suspected him too because, I don't know, to me, there's just something about Stu and Billy that, to me, they both seem kind of off in their own way. And because it turned out to be that they were the killers at the end, I'm like, you know, like I was angry, but at the same time, I was like, I knew it. Like those at first. Uh, okay, and the last fact 10. Jamie Kennedy was chosen for the role of Randy because he would often improvise humor into his lines, which made director Wes Craven laugh. And you know what? I think it was a good choice that Jamie Kennedy was cast as Randy Meeks, because he was the perfect choice for that character, because that character is such a very likable character because he's smart. He's a horror geek, and horror movie geek, and he knows like the rules of what to do and not to do, in horror movies. So to me, I just find that quite interesting. Like, wow, really? And believe me, I didn't even know those rules myself. I didn't even know those rules until I watched Scream. Like, wow, I did not know that. So yes, that is all for this. And in case if you learn something new about Scream, tell me what it is, and maybe tell me what's your favorite fact on Scream. So that's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.